My name is Sam Vaknin. I'm the author of Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited. Abuse by proxy continues long after the relationship is officially over, at least as far as one of the parties is concerned. The majority of abusers get the message, however belatedly and reluctantly. Yet there is a minority of abusers, the more vindictive and obsessed ones, who continue to haunt and hunt their ex-spouses for years to come. These are, of course, the stalkers. Most stalkers are what the scholars Zona and Gerberth call simple obsessional, or, as Mullen and Path put it, the rejected ones. They stalk their prey as a way of maintaining the dissolved relationship, at least in their diseased minds. They seek to punish their quarry for refusing to collaborate in the charade and for resisting their unwanted and ominous intentions. Many of them are erotomaniac. Such stalkers come from all walks of life and cut across social, racial, gender, and cultural barriers. They usually suffer from one or more comorbid personality disorders. They may have anger management or emotional issues, and they usually abuse drugs or alcohol or both. Stalkers are typically lonely, violent, and intermittently unemployed, but they are rarely full-fledged criminals. Contrary to myths perpetrated by the mass media, studies show that most stalkers are men. They have high IQs, advanced degrees, and they are middle-aged. This has been proven in studies such as Malloy and Gothard, 1995, and Morrison in 2001. Rejected stalkers are intrusive and inordinately persistent. They recognize no boundaries, personal or legal. They honor no contracts, and they pursue their targets for years. They interpret rejection as a sign of the victim's continued interest and obsession with them. They are therefore impossible to get rid of. Many of them are narcissists, and thus lack empathy, feel omnipotent and immune to the consequences of their actions, and suffer from serious cognitive deficits and a deteriorating reality test. Even so, some stalkers are possessed of an uncanny ability to psychologically penetrate other people. Often, this gift, which I call cold empathy, is abused and put at the service of their control freakery and sadism. Stalking and the ability to mete out justice makes them feel omnipotent, powerful, and vindicated. When arrested, they often act the victim and attribute their actions to self-defense and to what they call righting wrongs. Stalkers are emotionally labil and present with rigid and infantile primitive defense mechanisms: splitting, projection, projective identification, denial, intellectualization, and narcissism. These type of stalkers devalue and dehumanize their victims, and thus justify the harassment or diminish it. From here, it is only one step to violent conduct.
Gang stalkers use covertly aggressive tactics to harass TIs. These stalkers get off on getting other people angry. They congratulate each other if they say hi to a TI and the TI looks annoyed. They think it's hilarious and that they beat a TI because they cough when a TI walks by. They impress their friends by trying to record TIs using the bathroom. They bond with their mates and children by trying to walk into a Target in the street. Sometimes they get really romantic and do this while holding hands, and then they look at the TI and say sorry with a sneaky smile, then smirk. Aww. Right. All this is mostly done by people who are supposed to be adults, believe it or not. Any relationship that involves harassing other people during time spent together is not one anybody should be jealous of or want. TIs report that they have been harassed by couples. If a couple's quality time involves harassing people, it means that there is something wrong with the relationship that the couple is ignoring and is instead taking the frustration out on an innocent outsider. Some parents actually get their kids involved in gang stalking. There is something wrong with the parenting skills and family values that are being taught to these children. Maybe these parents should try to raise their kids to be productive members of society who respect other people's rights. Just a thought. I wonder what they say after a gang stalking incident.
Good one, Mom. Oh, honey. Did you see his face? He was so mad when you coughed. You are so romantic.
Oh, baby. I liked how you just turned around and started telling that girl off or pretending like you weren't even talking to her. That was sexy. You are so spontaneous.
Girl, the way you just shouted curses at him, then drove away so he couldn't say anything, show me you know how to stand up to people. For real.
Dad, you're my hero.
You are the man. The way you just looked at her, then said goodbye and started laughing, classic. I wish I had that much courage.
My parents say it's okay to pick on someone as long as everyone else is doing it. They are like the best parents ever.
Now it's time for FYI, essential information for TIs. Gang stalkers use covertly aggressive tactics to manipulate TIs. A TI needs to be aware of the process of victimization as well as defense mechanisms and offensive tactics that could be used to cause them harm. You're about to receive some information on how to handle this right now.
TIs face constant emotional and psychological attacks. It is important for TIs to maintain their emotional health. The perps are watching the TI's every move and waiting for the slightest sign of anger to come rushing in and attempt to increase it to uncontrollable rage. In this context, uncontrollable means you are no longer in control, but they are using the rage to control your actions. Don't think that one or two annoying events is what they're banking on. No. They rely on cumulative anger building into rage. They are trying to wear down your resistance with every incident, even the minor ones, until you have a little resistance and lots of stored anger. You can prevent this from happening.